Right then, let's unpack this, shall we? It's not just a holiday gone awry, you understand. It's a betrayal of expectation, a shattering of the illusion. Honestly, it feels like a deeply personal affront, like a meticulously crafted dream, then deliberately torn apart. Some experiences, you see, are meant to elevate, to transport you to a state of bliss. This was the opposite. It was a descent. You wouldn't believe the build-up. Hours scrolling, combing through pictures, reading carefully curated reviews. Premier Le Reve Hotel Spa Hurghada, the name itself drips with promises of luxury, of a dream realized, a fairy tale. I of course expected a certain standard. It's not arrogance, darling, it's basic entitlement. One has been raised to anticipate a level of refinement, a certain attention to detail. It's a matter of principle. You contribute to the economy, you expect a reciprocal gesture of excellence. Now the moment I stepped off that plane, the heat, yes, that was lovely. A tactile welcome, if you will, but the transportation, a dilapidated van smelling faintly of despair and stale cigarettes. Already the first hairline fracture in the facade. Honestly, if that's the first impression you're setting, you're essentially broadcasting your negligence. Why create regret or anxiety? I mean, it's just rude. Arriving at the hotel itself, well, the lobby, that was impressive, all marble and glittering chandeliers. A masterful distraction, truthfully, a bit overdone, mind you, a bit trying too hard, like a debutante over-accessorizing. But it lulled me into a false sense of security. It glittered there, but what about everything else? It's called selective focus, you see, used to manipulate perception. You show lovely things, but keep all the bad bits hidden away. This is why you have to investigate always. The room, oh the room, they called it spacious. I call it tragically outdated, furniture resembling relics from a Soviet-era sanatorium, carpets stained with the ghosts of countless spilled drinks and careless feet. It smelled faintly of mothballs and regret. These aren't just aesthetic concerns, you understand. These are indicators of a profound disregard for basic hygiene, a fundamental lack of respect for the paying guest. Imagine bearing a lifetime of pristine standards and forced to exist within this decay. My mother always said a home is a reflection of the soul. What a dark and bleak soul resides within Premier Le Reve. And the air conditioning. Oh, it was a tragedy in itself, a rattling, wheezing beast, incapable of providing even the most rudimentary level of comfort. Mine sounded like a dying walrus. It felt like being muffled in a damp cloth and hearing it all the time, all day, every single day. This is not relaxation, people. This is torture. Who designs this? Honestly, the initial illusion crumbled further with the food. My dear, the food, what a parade of culinary offenses. Repetitive, bland, tragically overcooked. It was the same nothingness presented in slightly different forms. Fries, burgers, pizza. Facing a glorious scarlet sea and being offered a symphony of beige. It was an insult to the palate, a denial of the local cuisine. They've taken this gorgeous, resource-rich location and reduced it to a greasy spoon. The entire experience was depressing. This is a country built on spices, on tradition, on flavors, all thrown away for blandness. And breakfast, God, the breakfast, instant coffee labeled as coffee, instant. It's a crime against humanity, I swear. You expect a ritual, a preparation, a moment of quiet contemplation with your morning brew, not a powdered imitation. It's just soul-crushing, it's just cheapness. Like they don't value even the smallest of...
The dark side of businesses near Premier Le Reve Hotel Spa. Hurghada, if you're staying at Premier Le Reve Hotel Spa, dreaming of luxury and relaxation, brace yourself. Because the businesses nearby might just drag you back to reality. And not in a good way. Let's start with shopping. The area around Premier Le Reve has a reputation for being, let's call it economically adventurous. Senzo Mall, for example, is less of a shopping paradise and more of a masterclass in how to turn tourists into walking ATMs. Visitors report being charged $4,000 for 2 pizzas. Yes, you read that right, and not even good ones. The dough was so undercooked, it could have been mistaken for a building material. Then there's the T-Mobile store, where customers buy SIM cards, sign contracts, and then, poof, the service disappears faster than their money. ATMs swallow cash without returning it, supermarkets add mystery items to receipts, and taxi drivers outside perform magic tricks where 50 turns into 5 right before your eyes. It's not shopping, it's survival. Now, let's talk about dining. Restaurants near Premier Le Reve seem to operate on a philosophy of minimum effort, maximum disappointment. Moby Dick Restaurant, for instance, serves food that could double as a biological weapon. Diners report food poisoning, steaks drier than the Sahara, and chickens so greasy it could lubricate a car engine. The staff's response: "You should have ordered it medium." Helpful. Then there, Aladdin Oriental Cafe, where the manager stares at customers like they owe him money, and the tea is just Lipton bags masquerading as something exotic. Granada Restaurant Pub takes the crown, though rats included at no extra charge, birthday celebrations ignored, and mandatory minimum spends enforced like a tax. One guest found their missing phone behind the counter after tracking it, which tells you everything about hospitality here. Hotels nearby? Oh, Cleopatra Luxury Resort Makati Bay is a case study in how not to run a resort. Guests describe it as a place where Germans go to escape, well, everyone else. The food is so bad even the Germans complain. Rooms require bribes for upgrades, and staff harass guests for tips like seagulls fighting over chips. One couple's honeymoon was ruined by a kids, disco, and 9 straight nights of pasta. Another guest was chased down for €2 they supposedly owed, because nothing says luxury like being nickel and dimed at checkout. And then there's White Beach Hurghada, or rather was. Reviews suggest it's been closed so long it might as well be a ghost story. "Never again," one visitor wrote, which sums it up nicely. So what's the verdict? Businesses near Premier Le Reve Hotel Spa treat tourists like piñatas, hit them hard and hope money falls out. The pattern is clear overcharging, under-delivering, and a casual relationship with hygiene and honesty. If you stay here, keep your wallet close, your expectations lower, and maybe pack a snack. Because in this corner of Hurghada, the only thing guaranteed is disappointment. And if you see a taxi driver smiling, run.
Okay, so I was looking into things happening around Premier Le Reve Hotel Spa in Hurghada, It's depressing, honestly. It's not the hotel itself, it's just the shops nearby, they're a bit much. Businesses here, they tend to see tourists as walking wallets, it feels like. First, it's this thing with change. Like you go to a shop near Premier Le Reve, buy something, hand over a 50 EGP note, and suddenly they're saying you gave them a 5. A 5, can you believe that? Then they make you pay again or just keep the difference. I bet the tourists just pay, they don't want a scene. They probably feel awful, thinking maybe they messed up, and then they just write it off as a lesson learned. But it's not a lesson, it's a rip-off. The shopkeepers, they just pocket the extra money and move on to the next person leaving Premier Le Reve, probably laughing all the way to the bank. Then there are the restaurants. Apparently, some have 2 menus. One for locals with normal prices, and another special tourist menu with everything doubled. Seriously, who does that? If you're staying 2 weeks at Premier Le Reve, you'll probably eat out a few times. They think we're all just stupid with money, I guess. Locals probably gossip about the tourists getting ripped off, and the restaurant owners just keep doing it. And the shops, they inflate the prices like crazy. They start with something totally ridiculous, like 3 times what it should be. And if you try to bargain, they get aggressive. You try to walk away and they'll try and guilt trip you. I bet a lot of people just cave and pay because they don't want any trouble. They get back to Premier Le Reve feeling frustrated and taken advantage of. They probably don't even report it, thinking it's just how things are. There's also this trick where they tell you one shop is closed just so they